In this Plebs of the Week, we have ambitious but rubbish with this overtake attempt. We have one of the unluckiest drivers to ever submit in terms of clips and racing. And check out this sportsmanship. Find out why they did it. Hello everyone and welcome back to Plebs of the Week. Now if you do enjoy this video series, make sure you do give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. And we jump straight into this first one where JPKE just dashed down the inside of the German up ahead. Now this was submitted by Captain Morgan. I put PSN and nicknames up there. Well, the German wasn't very happy with that, of course, so we get to the Kemmel Straight and they're going to send the Lamborghini off there. The Lamborghini manages to catch it a little bit there. Unfortunately, then, we have an innocent bystander take victim named Racemaster as we come back on by the German. I mean, well held by the German here. But it's not good to take out race victims, which is why I do not like revenge punts. We're going to jump back to Captain Morgan, who was the person who submitted this race replay then. So as we go through the right, you see all the carnage there at Lego. We're going to head down here. I want you to focus up ahead then. So the German was in the BMW. We've got a Beetle that goes towards the inside. And the German's now out to absolutely attack everybody. Captain Morgan gets it a little bit wrong there, going into this right-hander. But you can see how this is just building up now. You know, everyone's getting closer and closer. Well held by Captain Morgan there. Does get along the inside of the German driver. What we're going to do, they get 2-second penalty there, which is very unfortunate. We are going to jump back on the German. As we go into P1 here, you can see that they're trying to get the tap and push Captain Morgan wide, but they don't do that. Then Granty's going to look to come on through. Now, the German continues to go on their bit of a punt fest. I can see why there's a bit of revenge punting in there, but some of these people did nothing, so it's not acceptable in my opinion. That was a DRB lobby. Right, next up then, we have this submission, another BMW driver. This is submitted by GTA Drive here. As we go into this left-hander, Spanish driver just sends it down his side of Dan Stable there, and they get a little bit of a hit from behind. I don't think there was anything in that personally, but they're going to try and take revenge. And unfortunately, Dan Stable is the victim there, so not the greatest showing in the world from this Spanish driver. Now, the Italian here right behind them, and they're going to push them all the way into the corner and send them off the circuit, and they're actually going to hit the barrier on the exit. I have no idea whether they saw what was happening and just want to get rid of them. No idea, because they're not being that dirty here. It's the Italian thereafter. But we'll continue on here with the Spanish driver, and GTA driver's up ahead, and the Spanish driver just takes complete revenge on somebody who wasn't even involved in the incident. It's insane to me. Like, why would you do that? I have no idea. They get a 4-second penalty for that. But GTA Drive wasn't involved. Look, you can see here, so we go back a lap then as we go to this right-hander. You can already see the Spanish driver off up ahead then as we go into this left-hander. Not them, the one that was in the barrier on the left-hand side. We continue on out of here. You can see GTA Drive has not been anywhere near that Spanish driver. And I do this investigation just to make sure there was nothing. There's no revenge punting in there at all. I can see why they tried to punt the Lamborghini, for example. But what did GTA Drive do? They came through here. There's a slight tap with Mickey up ahead. Nothing major. There's a lot of racing action going on all of a sudden. That is a bit of a spin there. And they are going to get a penalty for it, which makes absolute sense. But a DRA rated lobby there then. So we jump on board an Italian then. No, sorry, it's a Mexican driver. Apologies. And this was submitted by Ashwolf. So we continue on out of here. We're going through Ashwolf right now. And we have a familiar person there up ahead. Now, we're going to talk about familiar people in these Plebs of the Week going forward at the end of this video. So please do keep an eye out for that. So you can see that Moose was punting as we carried on. We've just advanced a bit further on. And they're catching up to Dailies here. And what they're going to do is they're going to look to punt Dailies off. Don't get it. Don't understand why they're doing this at all as we continue back on the Supra. And you see that they were about to take some revenge on somebody else. So Ashwolf here comes out of the corner. You see they go very much to the left very quickly. Causes a bit of an issue. Up ahead, Moose is then going to continue their takeout. Not acceptable in the slightest. We've seen this driver multiple times now doing this, and they're doing it just on their own free will. It's not a case of revenge punting at all here. 5-second penalty, good. Ashwolf turns into them there because Moose was about to turn into them anyway. I don't see any problem with that personally. You were defending yourself there, and I know you submitted it and said you maybe shouldn't have done it, but you were defending other people. I completely understand it. You know, it's a revenge punt in terms of you can see what's going on. They did nothing, and they were just punting absolutely everybody. It's understandable to do that, and it's not something I would ever report, etc. And we'll get to reporting as well at the end of this video. So on board, Eamon here, who tries to go down the inside of the Porsche driver there. Not much of a gap there. They go into the left-hander. The Khaled goes a little bit deep there. Nothing major in my opinion. However, Eamon here wasn't too happy and is going to send the Porsche off. I don't think that was... I mean, that's a big overreaction in my opinion. I do label these clips as well, and this one literally has overreaction. 5-second penalties. You lose now even more places for arguably a move that wasn't really on the cards. We're going to jump to the Porsche driver then, and I'm going through these in a bit more detail to show you how to do this, but we can have a look from the Porsche driver as we head up here. So you can see they're racing clean to me. You know, they're trying to look for space. There isn't there, and there's not really space there for aiming to go, so I don't understand the big overreaction. You can see here they're still turning left. Yes, they've gone a bit deep, fine. You may be like, oh, why have they done that? But they weren't trying to punt you off there, and then you send them off. That's an A+ lobby as well, believe it or not. So, you know, dirty or bad driving doesn't just happen in lower lobbies. It happens across all splits. On D White the Gamer, we're not about D White the Gamer. D White the Gamer submitted this, and you can follow them on the socials. So Barry goes round there at the end of the long chicanes here in this yellow BMW, very yellow BMW. They come back on circuit, absolutely fine. See here, they're trying to give room to the Brazilian driver on exit. And there's an unfortunate contact there. That is just a racing incident, in my opinion. It's just one of those things that happens. You can see the carnage that ensues because that incident actually happened. I don't think there's anything in that, in my opinion, at all. But again, we don't just submit clips to say somebody's at fault. We look at this to learn. So you go through this right-hander, and Barry's just alongside them there. And I think they're just straighten up as the Porsche is still slightly turning. I think it's coming together of two drivers. Bit of netcode issue going on there as well. You can see there's movement in the cars, and yeah, this driver stump goes off as well. So DRA again, it's not all the time that somebody's at fault and we're trying to report people here. It's all about learning, and that's what we're trying to do. So we're on board Johnny now. This was submitted by Don Joel, that you can see in the bottom left hand side. So we'll go through here, and it's up ahead then we can see Joel on the right hand side. Johnny's on the left hand side here, and as we go into here then, side by side, a little bit of contact, and then netcode really has a big impact there, in my opinion. You can see the big bounce, and there wasn't really that much contact. Everybody comes back on. In my opinion, you just carry on as normal at this point. It's quite clearly, obviously, something going on, but Johnny says otherwise and sends them completely off. That's unacceptable, in my opinion. It really is indeed. And once again, this clip is labelled overreaction. So I label them all so I know exactly what we're looking at. 5-second penalty, so now you lose even more spots, and I don't understand why. Anyway, we continue on with Johnny. Johnny's taking that 5-second penalty. They're waiting up now to take out more revenge on Joel. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. It's just, you just look stupid doing this, if I'm brutally honest with you. A DRB rated lobby there for you. Right, next up, what have we got here? We're on board a Lamborghini. So Aussie Truck submitted this one, and we're on board Goodwin. So coming into here then, they hit the brakes. They just had a bit of a bump draft into that braking zone, and unfortunately, they do take out the Portuguese driver. That's unfortunately just a mistake. Quite clearly, a bit of a bump draft right before the braking zone. Unsettled Goodwin in terms of the braking marker and where they should brake. And yeah, it's just an unfortunate victim there. Probably should have waited up, but very clearly, obviously, just a mistake in the grand scheme of it. We're on board Noah here, who absolutely sends it there. This is submitted by Aussie Truck again. So they obviously didn't want somebody to win, and you can see they got into the barrier, and that person that they have hit is just about to go on by. They're in P2 right now, and Aussie Truck wins the race. Well played, mate. Why you do this, I don't know, but I thought I'd do some digging into that as well, because you actually lost more places. So somebody, you're about to come P2, you tried to pump P1 off, and ended up P7, all said and done. So I'll try to go back and have a look here then. So we've got Noah up ahead, and we're on board the Porsche who was hit here. So they've also been racing fine up to this point. There's a small tap there. Now that is a push to pass, in my opinion. So I can sort of see why Noah did it. I just don't know why you'd want to lose more places because of it. I would just talk in chat afterwards and say that was a bit unfair, in my opinion. But yeah, I can see why you did it now, watching it. So on board JD Racing here, who you can follow on YouTube as well. So we continue on through this left-hander. We've got the German up ahead. You can see there, clean racing, no issues whatsoever. However, what becomes an issue is that Jim just randomly wants to start brake checking, as you see right there. No idea why you would do that. A lap later, we're in the same situation. JD Racing was racing absolutely fine throughout this. I did check. As we go through the right-hander, we're going to go up here. And at this moment in time, I'd go towards the left. You do. And then the German just decides to punt anyway. DRC, that's just disgusting driving, in my opinion, from the German driver, because JD actually was racing really clean with them. Right, with Aussie Truck here then, so we've got a couple of penalties going on there. That's Alex taking a penalty. We've got Nasty up ahead taking a penalty. Going through his left-hander, 3 wide in Blanchimon. Oh, that wasn't going to work, was it? My word. Aussie Truck, fortunately, isn't the worst victim out of that. Gets a 4-second penalty, though. That is a very harsh penalty by Gran Turismo. I think that's very unfair. So we've got both the yellow Ferrari then, who was on the very much inside there. Goes on the grass to overtake. This is one of those where you just back out at this point. Don't send it. There's no way you're making that corner in a month for Sundays. And that's the outcome there. So, in my opinion, that's all on you there, Mr. Ferrari. You can see why... Oh, brutal reset. I mean, fair play. That's a deserved reset, in my opinion. But yeah, don't go off circuit to overtake there. You're not going to get a penalty as well. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it's not going to work out very well at all. Again, something to learn from, I would say here. So into the right we go. Good sportsmanship. Look at that. They hit the Spanish driver up ahead, realized it was a mistake, waited up for them to return to circuit. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Love to see that. Well played there. So we're on board Thunder 13 here as we go into the right-hander. We're going to continue on through, and Thunder's just going to send the Ukrainian round. I actually have no idea why. I did try and find anything in this race, but remember, it's lap 1 of Spa with a rolling start. There isn't really much happening until you get to that point of the race. Going through here, you can see that they try and take out the person who sent this in there, but they managed to catch it. Well done again. And they go for a brake check. Again, why are you doing this? I don't understand it. Like, you're just going to lose more places. It's very bizarre to me. And then they try and take out the AMG of Steve there, but Steve manages to get by. We'll play Steve. And once again, the BMW is up ahead. So in this moment in time, this is one where I'd be very cautious if I was the BMW. And you can see they are being very cautious here. Sticking out very wide, giving them lots of space to Thunder. So, you know, you're doing the right things there, in my opinion. You're not retaliating, and you're just trying to get on with your race. Another brake check there from the Porsche. Why? I have no idea. Another brake check again. DRC. Just seems stupid, but you're doing the right things in my opinion, so yeah, well played to you. This is a funny clip. Now this is weekly challenges rather than weekly races. Going through here, we're gonna have takeoff in the Tomahawk and go for a bit of a spin. So can you flip a car in Gran Turismo? The answer is yes. Now you can hardly tell where you are on the circuit, so let's look at this from the TV camera. Go through a Rouge Rally on, front end lifts up, and that is a big old crash. Look at that one. That's a good little clip there. Thank you for that submission there. I appreciate that. It's a little bit different. So we go to Daily Race C then for this. And Hyder Rider goes... Hyder Rider's up ahead. We're on board the Brit here who sent it down the inside. Got it wrong there. That was just a mistake. Just a mistake. That's all it was. Nobody's overreacting here, which is good to see. And you can see we're just racing as normal. So absolutely fine from everybody there. Well played to you all. Mistakes happen. We have these moments. We carry on with the race. It's all good. Right, we're on board the submitter now, Hyder Rider. I said that wrong earlier on, but here we are. Into the final corner they go. Yellow flag up ahead. Can't see anything. Oh, come on, Gran Turismo. That is a dodgy penalty and a half. You're being very unlucky here. And speaking of unlucky, actually, I remember this bit here. So the Indian driver here just gets their braking completely wrong. And you can see they tried to avoid them at the last second. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. A+ there. Hyder Rider, you were in the wars there, and none of that was your fault. So, yeah, continue doing what you're doing with the racing. It looked like you were doing awesome as we continue on here with Howie's submission. We're on board real at the moment as we go through this right-hander and continue on this. There's a bit of contact initially at the chicane, nothing major. Real sends it there. That send really wasn't on. It's very hard to send it there, don't get me wrong, and it is a place you can overtake, but to get it right is very difficult. Now, the German obviously didn't like that, so they're going to absolutely send the Dutch driver off, but they send themselves off at the same time because that was a full-on plant. So that's a bit of revenge. I can see why you did it, Jonas. So, you know, it's one of those where we look at it and we go, please don't revenge punt. There is no point. You've lost more positions for no real gain here. Now, Howie up ahead. Very innocent driver, and the German's going to do the same thing again. So they've just completely lost the plot at this point. Again, that's not acceptable in my opinion. What's Howie done? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just racing along, and you get another penalty for it. And I assume you're going to leave. So, yeah, well done for doing nothing and achieving nothing there. Right, here we go. We're on board Maxi then, who did submit this clip. We've got Scottman up ahead in a very colourful Lexus there. So, side-by-side racing here. This is looking very nice as we go through this right-hander. Slight tap, nothing major. I think they ran you off a little bit here. Scottman loses it, coming back on the circuit. I don't think Maxi intended the punt there at all, in my opinion. Maybe did. I can't remember what was actually in the description. But to me, it looks like you were just coming back on the circuit. So, I'm going to treat it as that. So, I definitely give benefit of the doubt. Scottman obviously didn't like it. Sends it into them. Goes for a spin. And now he's going to lose more places because of it. Again, I don't understand why you would do that. Quite clearly, you were racing fine. And then there's a small mistake. I don't understand the overreaction there. That's a DRA-rated lobby. So... Brody Danger submitted this one. I can't get names right today. We're on board Taco here as we continue on through the right-hander. And what's going to happen here then? So there's some racing there in towards that first turn. Nothing major so far. In towards the braking zone. They hit the brakes. And unfortunately, it looks like that was a mistake. That's what it seems to me, at least, as we continue on. Now, they get a 2-second penalty, and they're really not happy with that. And that's where they do a bit of a brake check. You can't complain at that because you hit the brakes late. So I think this is a bit of an overreaction here from the Canadian driver. And they're going to send the American off because apparently it's their fault. And I don't believe it was their fault in the slightest, really. Right, we jump to Don't Push. There's Jay Meadows who submitted this clip then as we go through the left-hander. We're going to continue on out of here. And then head into the right. All looks fine so far. Some good racing going on here. Nothing of major. What's going to do? Oh, looking to send it down the inside there. Tiny tap. Now, that was more on than the other one. J Meadows is going to push back. Okay, yeah, J Meadows, you asked me to review that in terms of that. In my opinion, that was a fair attempt at a move, so the pushing back wasn't really necessary, in my opinion. Don't push then obviously retaliated from that, so I can see why that happened. I think that was a fair move. Yes, they missed the apex by a tiny bit, but I don't think that was them trying to push you off. I think they were trying to return to circuit. So, yeah, that's just my view on that one. Will Money submitted this one, so a bit of carnage up ahead, bit of a crashing towards turn 1, and they're trying to get through it in the grand scheme of it then. As we continue out of this corner, they get a 3-second penalty, which I think is very unfair. They need to get rid of these yellow flag penalties because they are atrocious. They really are. What actually happened then? So as we go to this right-hander, they just hit the brakes a bit late there, did this driver. And you can see there, it's just caused a bit of carnage, and that's why the penalty happens. Again, you shouldn't have got the penalty there. DRC, and that's the sort of thing that I would expect to happen in DRCs towards turn 1 occasionally, where mistakes can and will happen. So, Penelo, we're on board Penelo, who submitted this one. Just come out the pits there. We've got clean or dirty on our own side. Well, we're going to be looking at ourselves then. So, we're going to head towards the left-hander. At this point in time, I would give this one up. You'd look towards send it on the inside. I don't think that was on, in my opinion. I would have backed out of that one. And clean or dirty is not going to like that and absolutely send you around. That's a bit of an overreaction on their part, but I can understand their frustration because it is a corner. Going side by side is very difficult. You can't send it on that corner either, in my opinion. So, yeah, I would argue that they shouldn't have revenge punted, but you really should have backed out of this instance. This is one of those where we really could do with learning from, because it's not a heavy braking zone. It's a dab of the brakes, chuck it in. So if you absolutely send it, there's always going to be a crash. You did probably try and back out of it a little bit there, but just try and do that a little bit earlier on, in my opinion. But yeah, the takeout, it's not really needed there. DRA for that one then. What we'll do next is jump to the next clip. Oh, look at this TCR livery. So, TCR Jeff submits this one. You check them out on Twitch as well, down that bottom left-hand side. We're going to head towards turn 1. We're on the brakes. Everything's looking quite okay. There's a little tap there on Ember from somebody else. Go through here. Slight tap on Ember on the rear there. Now, Jeff, in my opinion, you don't have to wait up for this. I don't think that's your fault. It's a big crash. You didn't instigate that crash. And in my opinion, it was all happening. There's ghosts and everything everywhere. But this is awesome sportsmanship. It really is. Really well played to that one. So, you and Ember carry on racing there. Clean and fair. Well played indeed. Ember's giving you a bit of a bump draft here as we head towards turn number 1. So, we've got on the brakes. Ember's looking to send it down the inside. Makes it work there. Brilliant stuff. Now, on exit there, there's a small tap. Now, this one, yes, I agree. You should wait for this one. Arguably, Ember wasn't giving you enough room on exit, but arguably, it maybe should have lifted at that point. I don't know. That's one of those where it's a 50-50. But in my opinion, the second one, wait. The first one, you didn't have to do that. So, Neto Fit here submitted this one. So, tiny tap with the French driver up ahead. Nothing major. Looks to send it down the inside. Oh, I'd argue that wasn't necessarily on there. You were definitely going to go deep. So, I would give that one back personally to the French driver as you keep on racing here. However, the French driver is going to look down the inside, sends it back. Actually, really clean move there by the French driver. Again, similar to that other incident we saw earlier, where just not enough space on exit potentially here. But you could argue that's a 1-for-1 now. No real major. Let's continue on with the race. That's how I would see this anyway. So we're going to head in towards the right-hander. A good send there. Made the apex absolutely fine. We're going to continue on out of here. And a little bit of a bump draft. So we go on board the French driver. We're going to head towards the fast left. What's going to happen here then? As we hit the brakes, we chuck it in. And the French driver's looking on the inside. And then they've just had enough. And I don't know why you would do that, to be honest with you. Yes, you were 1-for-1. Just carry on with the race. DRB there. And you get a track limit penalty, not a penalty for anything else, which you really should have done. Right, Quinton submitted this one. And we've got a Spanish driver. We're on board them right now. We've got Baldric on the left-hand side. We've got a Croatian on the right. And they randomly start punting the Croatian driver. Bit odd. And I did try and check this. I couldn't really see much going on there. So the Croatian driver absolutely sends it with a revenge punt. I mean, thank you for avoiding all the innocent people in that situation. But in the grand scheme of it, I don't think it's worthwhile. So on board the Brit then, who hits the brakes and starts to turn into Spragatelli up ahead. Now goes to punt them off. Now we've got all sorts of carnage going on here. The Brit comes back on. They try and spin them round. Quinton gets ahead, who submitted this clip, or submitted the replay at least. As we head towards the left, the French driver then had enough of the Brit. Obviously saw what was happening and didn't want to get involved. Again, understandable. I talked about that earlier on in the race, where you see somebody constantly punting everybody else. Ready to hit. Obviously the Brit says, no, you don't punt me. I punt you back. Still like seeing it, to be honest with you. You can see how everybody is just overreacting. Now we're on board, as we're not on board Ryan. Ryan submitted this one though, and you can see here the Brazilian is not out to race clean whatsoever. So this is lap 1, turn number 1, and they go for the punt. They purposefully release the brakes there. They go for a brake check now, so they got 5 seconds of penalties. They go for another brake check. I don't know what you achieve with this, to be perfectly honest with you. To me, you're just looking to cause a lot of carnage. Now, you know what? My opinion on this is, folks, and I will be doing what I normally do in accordance with that. And I will explain that a bit more in detail after we've looked at the racing, because after this we actually have some very good racing coming, because I did say submit some good racing, and we have had some as well. But we're just going to focus on this Brazilian for the remainder of this lap, just to show you this is not the driving I want to see in Gran Turismo. This is one of the reasons, or the main reason, I want to continue making this Plebs of the Week series, because you show me this and I go, right, okay, this needs some action. I'm going to do my best to have some action done, because they're just causing carnage for everybody else. So the person who punted the Brazilian off just at the chicane there, I have no problem with, because you can see here they're just trying to punt every single person. They're trying to cause carnage for no good reason. They're trying to impact everybody else's day, and I don't understand why. Now, for me, Gran Turismo should be really acting on this sort of action in-game. You know, you can quite clearly see there's lots of contacts going on. Gran Turismo should have like an auto feature where that happens. You can see they continue on punting there, and they're going to be taking a penalty, but let's forget about that one now. So, good racing, okay? I want to show you some good racing. So, going into the pits, you go, that's not good racing. S to C hit them there. And Paul actually got a penalty. We can't see that penalty. So, when you do submit YouTube clips, I normally wouldn't show this, but because it was so good of you to do this, Paul took the penalty, Esther waited. Look at that sportsmanship. Well played. Absolutely well played. It was your mistake. Paul was a victim in all that. You waited with them. You carry on having a good race. Absolutely fantastic. Well played. Akami here has submitted this one then. So this is just fantastic racing. Side-by-side racing, how you want to see it. Silent Gaming on the left-hand side then. We're in the GTR then as we head towards turn number 1 here at Fuji's. This is last week's daily races, of course. We're just looking to catch up with them now. Continue on out of here. Akami gave Silent Gaming plenty of space. Silent Gaming is giving Akami space. This is how we want to race in Gran Turismo. Going to the left side by side. Now, this is very risky, but you both give each other room. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome to watch. I love watching this, by the way. And this race actually carried on throughout the race, but it gets even better in a second. You can see here, Akami looking down the inside to make it work. Silent Gaming saw it, gave some space, but you may have just seen another car getting into the action. Well, we go a lap later. Now, Lethal Red Rum is involved. Akami has taken that lead. And what we're going to do is witness the rest of this lap side-by-side action. So, lap number 3 here, side-by-side, heading towards the chicane then. We go into this. Red Rum around the outside. We're on the inside. Going to be outside then. Everybody leaving everybody's space. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. Red Rum takes that lead as we head into the final sector. But we go to lap number 5 then. So you can see the race has continued here. This is awesome stuff. I bet you guys absolutely love this one. So Red Rum goes a little bit deep there. Kami saw that coming. Silent Gaming comes back. Now there's a little tag here. This is nothing major. Red Rum just missed where Silent Gaming was. Now giving space. This is what you do. You just carry on racing into there side by side. Again, giving each other space. Akami's going to come back now as we go through this right-hander. Absolutely superb stuff. I want to see more of this as well. I want to promote this more as well. That's the whole point of the channel, positive driving. But I do need to be a voice there for those that are being victims in races where we do have morons. This one's submitted by Maxi then. This is a race with the Italian driver, Spartano. A little bit of tag there in the left-hander. Nothing major. That's where Spartano had their nose in there, and Maxi turned in a bit too early. Again, mistakes happen. It's one of those things. We carry on here. So we go to lap number 12 then. Racing the Italian still then, and the Italians just got by with that straight as we go in towards turn number 1. And on the inside, Maxi Spartano gives some room on the exit. Brilliant racing here. We're going to head side by side once again to this fast left-hander. Oh, who's going to give it up? Or are we going to continue racing? No, Maxi gives it up. See, that's the smarter way to do it, in my opinion. You don't lose as much time and you carry on your race. But I can understand the side-by-side action as well. Beautiful decision-making there from Maxi as we continue through this fast right. Over towards the braking zone then. Hard on the brakes. In towards the left we go. Spartano keeping that position now. Good defensive driving. Good racing once again here. And it's awesome to see this. It really is. As we head towards the chicane then. Maxi gets on the inside. Spartano going to have to give room. By the way, check out Spartano on Twitch there. See, fantastic racing here from the Italian driver. Awesome to see. As we go through the right. Still side by side. Notice how more room is given now. All understandable by everybody. Continue on. DRA. Well played to you both. I hope you enjoyed that Plebs of the Week video then. And I'm just going to be very transparent now with some of the stuff going forward because we had a vote and we've had a lot of discussion in the comments as well, which I'm still catching up with, so please do bear with me. We had 498 votes for whether Plebs of the Week continues or not. 452, 91%, continue as is. 24 votes for stop completely and 22 votes for continuing no reporting. So even if you combine the other two, we're still nowhere near the continue as is, so we will continue going forward. What I will say, though, is if you dislike this video series, please don't watch it. I realise that some people hate seeing bad driving, or dirty driving, should I say, rather than the bad driving. And if you don't want to see that, that's absolutely fine. Don't watch this video series. There's plenty of other content on the channel that you can watch. This is all about being a voice for you guys that we can voice out there. And I've also said on one of my streams in the past, I won't go into detail now, that I'm going to try and submit something to PD separately of an idea that maybe we can introduce in a GT7 in the Gran Turismos going forward, and we can maybe push forward for a new system, maybe. I don't know, but I will try and do that. I'm not going to make a video about it. I'll just submit a document and ideas and designs and stuff like that. If it has any impact, I don't know. So we're going to continue as normal with Plebs of the Week. We are going to change the format a little bit because we had a couple of comments about length, and I completely agree with you. And I thought this when I was editing it at the time. So sometimes, like week 5, was it, where we had 100 clips submitted? That's a lot of clips to put into a video, and it does extend the video too much. And I would argue, as some of you have said, it's just showing the same sort of incident over and over and over again. Plebs of the Week is all about learning. We'll report, obviously, very dirty drivers who are clearly being dirty for no good reason. But we want to learn from the bad driving and what we could have done better, like we saw with a couple of clips this week as well. So it's going to be 5 to 10 clips per daily race. So if we have 10 for daily race A, 10 for B, and 10 for C, I'll probably only show 5 of A, 5 of B, and 10 of C, depending on if the clips are very similar or not. And then, of course, we've got the good racing, which we're going to show 5 clips at maximum at the very end, where good sportsmanship or good racing is shown, just to show that there are very good racers out there that will respect you driving. And I really want to promote that. So, you know, if you do experience any of that, do submit that. There's been more than what was shown there. I'm grouping that into some of the other videos because they feature more in there. Remember, with Plebs of the Week, the idea is every single week at the end of the week, you see what's happened for that week so we can learn from it in the future. Obviously, at the moment, we're a bit delayed because this is last week's and it's Wednesday right now when this is released. So this week's that we're currently on will be shown then on the Tuesday next week. So this is Deep Forest and the Escort, etc. And then the week out, then on the same week, on that Sunday, is when we should get back to a normal schedule of Plebs of the Week on a Sunday. So just to clarify that as well. Now, repeat offenders. We've had a couple of repeat offenders submitted now. We actually saw one in this video, but they hadn't been shown for a couple of weeks. So they were shown, but there were others that were sent in that I really didn't show because I'm not using this as a reward-based system. So if you're a dirty driver, so lap 1, minute 1, you're going out there to absolutely destroy every single race, you're not going to be shown in this video, but I will still report you. I will still report you. I will show you once to show that this driver is obviously being a bad driver. So beware, be cautious around this driver. But I'm not going to show you each and every week. I'm just going to report you. I'll probably give it like a month in terms of if I don't get a report. And if then you are shown again, I will then do the same thing. I will show it once. Say, be cautious with this driver. They've obviously not learnt or they're not changed. And then I won't show you again. It's just not a reward if you're being a dirty driver to be in this video. So I'm going to make sure that you aren't shown and you're only shown very briefly when it does happen. Now, if you are making, if you just have bad driving, small mistakes in there, you know, arguably it's a little bit of a reward to be in the video for some people because they advertise their YouTube, Twitch, etc. That's absolutely fine. It's all about learning this video. You know, we saw some stuff there where, especially on the daily race C, you know, trying to go side by side into a corner might not always work, or you have to back out of it. You have to make the decision a bit earlier. That's absolutely fine. It's good. This is what it's all about. We look at it and we go, okay, yeah, maybe should have done that. And, you know, it's about being a voice out there as well. And I want to show the good racing. You know, that is a reward. So if you do some absolutely fantastic stuff, a bit like Ecstasy there, where they didn't have to wait that penalty line, but they waited anyway for Paul, that is unbelievably good sportsmanship. I will happily advertise anything you want because that is awesome racing. And just on top of reporting people, I can only report on the racing. Now, there's stuff going around. There's drama between a few people about there's some racism potentially. I'm not getting involved in that. That's something I cannot deal or report on in any way, shape, or form. Sony have their own ways of doing it. If it's on YouTube, YouTube have their own ways of dealing with it. I don't have a voice there. Yes, I could talk to my community manager, but they can't really do that much either. They have reporting systems in place. You've just got to go through those methods. It may take months, etc. I can only report on the replay in question and the racing in question. That replay, lap 1 to whatever lap it is than the race, that's what I look at. And that's what I judge anything on. Anything outside of that race and replay, I don't judge. If the same person's then reporting in a different replay, I can judge on that as well. But generally speaking, it's just that replay. Okay, so just to clarify on that, because some people seem to be getting confused. I don't report most people either. People have this thing that every clip shown is reported. I don't know. That's crazy. Don't think that. It's very much extreme cases, as you saw at the very end of this one this week. If you are submitting a clip, I really need to know where in the clip it is. So I've started not using clips where if you say the entire race, I'm just like, I'm not even going to go into it. I need incidents. If there's an incident in question, I will go back in the race and have a look why it happened in the first place, like I do. You know, is it a revenge punt? Is it whatever it may be? But I'm not. If you say the entire race and just send me the entire race, I'm not going to watch it. I don't have the time to do that, unfortunately. You have to be specific in order to do this. And arguably, if you are reporting to Gran Turismo, if they do come up with a system, you'll have to be specific there. So just let me know a couple of corners where the crashes or incidents happen. I can have a look and then go backwards. And then, as I say, I'll always investigate it. I always have to like see, is it a revenge punt? Is there something going on? Because then I can action it if I need to action it. But generally speaking, I don't, because usually it's because there's been a bit of contact somewhere else. It's generally the reason, and you can see that with this week's video. Apologies for I say this every single time at the moment, but it's insane. Apologies for the comments. I am actually away this weekend, so when I'm in the hotel room, I'm hoping to spend a few hours catching up on comments. But just to give you an idea, the last 2 plebs of the week, if you total up the comments, we've had over 1,000. Over 1,000. Remember, I work full time, do everything else, etc. So there's a lot of comments there. I will always read comments. Okay, I will always read them. I won't necessarily respond to all of them, because they don't need a response. But if you've asked a question, I will answer the question. If it's feedback, I will normally respond to the feedback, saying whether I've logged it or, you know, whatever I may do, because I do take all the ideas on board, as you've seen from this bit here. And if you do have any feedback, if you go, Tidge, I want to see it this way, I want to see something further, I will always look at it, and I will let you know if I can implement it or not. Like some of the feedbacks, you know, where you want me to go through an entire race for every clip, I can't do that in a video. That would be insanely boring for a lot of people. And it is all about entertainment factor and editing in there as well, because that's what I enjoy, editing. But what I will do is I will always take on the feedback, and then if I can implement it, I will. Look at the time trial guides. Everybody wanted kilometers an hour. You now have kilometers an hour. Then I got a few feedback. Can we have kilometers an hour on the pad lap? I've implemented that. If you've got feedback, let me know. I'm always looking to improve the videos. And that's everything in terms of plebs of the week, actually. Sorry for this informative bit at the end of the video. Someone's probably going to go, oh, it's another half-an-hour video. But it's like, you know, shortened in terms of plebs of the week. So do expect slightly shorter videos for plebs of the week. More detail in terms of what's good and what's bad and what we can improve on in terms of driving. A big thank you for all your support as always. And I do hope to see you in a video or live stream again very soon. And if you did enjoy it, make sure you subscribe and do check out those partners down below and check out the previous plebs of the week, which is right there for you to click. Au revoir, farewell, goodbye, and I'll see you again very soon.